Peace, peace, peace. Jeremiah wins, Jeremiah wins, Jeremiah wins, man. What's happening, YouTube? What's happening, Facebook? Been a minute, man, but I'm back with another video, another episode. It's a channel check, man. You know? Gotta check your frequency frequently, man, is a thing that I was fond of saying at one time. And I still am, now that I think about it. So we're gonna do a channel check, man. Last time y'all seen me, man, I was probably on the internet crying, missing my son terribly, the way that I miss my son. Shout out to my son, Jeremiah. If you happen to see this broadcast, man, I love you and I miss you. And I can't wait to see you. I can't wait till we can be together again, son. So, man, channel check, man. Let's do some updates real quick. First of all, I'm frustrated. Did I say that I was frustrated already? Did I mention that I was frustrated? I'm frustrated. And why am I frustrated? I'm frustrated because I can't see my son. And now I'm on my way back to court for child support. As a matter of fact, for a failure to comply with the court order to pay child support, I'm looking at some potential jail time right now. So I'm frustrated because it's unnecessary. And I find myself in a position where I am having to, and not having to, that's not the right word. I mean, I want to take care of my son. I want to be a father to my son. You know, I'm being made to shoulder the responsibility of being a parent without having any of the authority that goes along with being a parent. And a wise man once said that responsibility without authority is slavery. And I feel like I have been enslaved. I feel like my ex-wife, my son's mother, has used the court system to enslave me, intentionally so, because some women do these types of things. And, you know, men all over the internet, especially in a place called the manosphere, or more specifically, in particular, the black manosphere, which is gone mainstream now. You know, they're talking about the way that these black male influencers have contributed to Donald Trump winning the election. And there's a lot of talk about how, you know, the needs of boys and men have been ignored for far too long. And I agree. I am 46 years old, and for my entire life, you know, the social and cultural climate has always been about empowering girls, you know, making sure girls get all they need and more to be successful. I remember being young and going to church and sitting in the pew watching a bunch of girls receive college scholarships. And even though I was too young to attend college at the time, I remember wondering, why don't any of the boys that go to this church get scholarships to college? So, you know, we live in the world now, it's, you know, 2024, where you have contemporary scholars like Dr. T. Hassan Johnson. Shout out to Dr. T. Hassan Johnson. Big salute. Dr. T. Hassan Johnson is personally helped me just by giving me some encouraging words at a time when I was contemplating self-deletion, right? But Dr. T. Hassan Johnson has recently authored and published The Black Masculinist Turn, Solutions to Black Male Misandry. And shout out to Dr. Tommy J. Curry, author of The Man Not. And shout out to Dr. Ronald Neal, hashtag BMI, Black Male Independence. Dr. Ronald Neal just recently published his book, The work of contemporary Black scholars shows beyond shadow of a doubt that the amount of gaslighting that Black boys and men endure in a lifetime from American society, and specifically from Black women in particular, is like, it's insane. It's absolutely insane. And this is evident in the statistics. And like I said, I'm 46 years old, and for my entire life, I have been force-fed this false narrative that Black men are deadbeat dads, that they don't want to be fathers, they don't make good fathers. Right. I've had to listen to that my entire life, and it's all been a bunch of BS. And statistics prove it beyond a shadow of a doubt. Yet, and still somehow, we are still stuck with that popular narrative. There are women who all too readily believe and accept that narrative. And I, for one, as an individual, as a son and as a father, have had to deal with that BS narrative. And I am frustrated with it. We're going to come back to me being frustrated in a few minutes. I got a couple of videos queued up, man. We're going to do one of my favorite things to do to actually relieve my frustration is to watch some of my favorite content creators on YouTube. This, not only is it entertaining and informative and relaxing for me, it is very therapeutic. As the non-custodial parent of an awesome, now 12-year-old boy that I cannot see, I am constantly having to deal with the grief that comes with the loss of a living child. And what that feels like for me, it feels like my son is dead. God forbid. I know that that's not the reality. I know that that's not the situation. But that's what it feels like in my day-to-day life. Thanksgiving is in a couple of days. Turkey Day. Big family day. I won't get to see my son. I won't get to speak with my son. I won't get to enjoy my son for the holidays. And that sucks. Like that's one of those things that causes me to grieve. It's one of those things that causes me to have to battle with and constantly seek ways to overcome depression. And it is the reason why I'm doing these videos. The Jeremiah Wins YouTube channel was originally a father-son gaming channel that I started with my son when he was just a toddler. And his mother didn't think that it was a good idea that him and I do a YouTube channel. I knew that it was a great idea. And had she allowed me to do it, we would be filthy rich by now. We'll put a pin in that and come back to that later. So as I get ready to get into this channel check, I've already let you know that it's quite therapeutic for me. And one of my favorite YouTube content creators, someone that I am very thankful for during this holiday season and these days of Thanksgiving, is Ralph Smart. Big shout out to Ralph Smart. Thank you, sir. I appreciate you, brother. You got to be smart enough for Ralph Smart. Today's video from Ralph Smart, how appropriate. It is Shadow Work 101, the most effective method of healing emotional trauma. By now, you should be understanding why I like to watch Ralph Smart. Let's get it. Fair use, fair use. Whoa. Let that thing get together real quick, because I like to hear Ralph Smart do what Ralph Smart does. I don't want it to be buffering. Get that thing just a second. We're going to run that back, man, because I enjoy Ralph Smart. I watch Ralph Smart daily. Please go to the Ralph Smart Infinite Waters YouTube channel. Again, it is Infinite Waters. Give them a like. Hit that subscribe button. You'll never, ever regret it. And again, shout out to Ralph Smart.
Again, I would like that deep dive is all magical and fly. Just
I don't like the sound. Hold it.
Frequency of something. I feel so much better.
I don't like that.
That awesome.
We gotta do Ralph Smart the right way. We gotta do Ralph Smart the right way, man. Whoa. Technical difficulties, man. Sometimes technology can be technology. You got a lot of signals, man. It's a lot of invisible strings and wires and all of that going on, man. Let's try this one more time.
Once again, like this deep down magical and fly, just breathing, getting that good ass prana, baby. Raising the frequency. I feel so much better now. Raising the vibration. I feel much better. Take that. Get that good ass energy out. You feel so now. And a big shout out to everyone who's joined the new
technical difficulties.
That's going to help you become the greatest version. Patreon.com smart deep down below and be inspired. Let's talk about 101, because there is so much happening in the world right now, and I do believe, for a fact, that a lot of people are dealing with them. And nothing has transformed my life more than doing shadow work. I'm going to tell you how I'm going to tell you how it can help you.
So again, today's episode that Ralph Smart uploaded for today's video from the Infinite Waters channel is Shadow Work 101. I apologize for the buffering, unforeseen technical difficulties. We're going to get through it, though. I appreciate the favorite, Nevaeh. Thank you. I'm just giving that a second and letting it buff out just for a second, man. You got to be smart enough for Ralph Smart. You know? Jeremiah, when you watch this, when you see this, be smart enough for Ralph Smart. It's I've had to do shadow work over a number of years. As a matter of fact, let me write this down real quick. I had a therapy session today. I've been seeing a therapist for quite some time now. Today at 2 p.m. we had a session. It was the first session we had this month, actually. Just been busy, her and I, and haven't been able to schedule. And I cussed my therapist out this afternoon. Not really. I was just kind of, I'm frustrated. All right. So we'll come back to that too. Come on, Ralph Smart.
Does this information right here mine inside the same time? I want all of you right now to hit that like button. You support the rip.
You know what?
Right now.
I'm really, so again, technical difficulties. I'm live on Facebook and YouTube. And kicking it, what's happening? We live streaming, man. Technical difficulties. Y'all know, because y'all be here on a somewhat regular. I don't be having these buffering issues on a regular basis. Like, not like this. So, like, I'm just a little irritated that I'm having this issue now. But it's all good. You know, it is what it is.
We got a whole lot to talk about. Look, if you are watching this video and you're going through a hard time, 4 words for you. This too shall pass. If you that, do a little samba, baby.
Do a little samba,
Shadow
baby.
Work 101. What is shadow work? Well, you see, shadow work is a practice about uncovering disowned aspects of yourself. And it works on the premise that we must own our shadow 100% instead of repressing it, because this will contribute to healing our body, mind, and soul. Shadow work.
All right, so I'm going to pause Ralph Smart real quick. Man, you got to be smart enough for Ralph Smart, man. Shadow work, man, is an absolute necessity. And it is my opinion and my belief that a lot of people need shadow work. Let me just go ahead and stop beating around the bush and say it. My son's mother is extremely emotionally, hence spiritually immature, which is exactly and precisely why she won't let me see my son. Demon time. She's on demon time. Does she know that she's on demon time? Does she realize, does she understand that she's on demon time? That I can't answer with any certainty, whether or not she knows. I can only assume that she does, because she is certainly on demon time. And Nevaeh says it's a trend in the Black community. Yes, it is. It is. Unfortunately, it is a trend in the Black community. It's a terrible thing. Like it's bad. And I don't think that a lot of women realize the ways in which it's going to bite them in the behind at a future date. Like, for example, Nevaeh says black women have a tendency to copy each other and what each other have and don't have. That's true as well. We live in a day and age where the men, and I'm talking black men specifically and in particular, but it's not limited, it's not exclusive to just black men. We live in a day and an age in which the men are telling the women that being raised by a single mother sucks. Majority of these men were themselves raised by a single mother. And the women aren't listening. They aren't really paying attention to what the men are saying. And they're going to find out the hard way. A lot of them are already beginning to find out the hard way. Kevin Samuels, rest in peace to the Godfather Saint Kevin Samuels. He told you that winter was coming. And then the Blizzard King came. Shout out to attorney Dennis Sperling, the Blizzard King. So, some of these women, they still don't get it. The men are demanding and are indeed organizing for change. And a lot of the women are slow to understand what the hell is going on. They wondering why guys aren't at the club. You know, they're not buying drinks. Nobody's coming to the single events because we said, fuck that shit. Excuse my language. We said enough is enough. We're not doing it anymore. It's not worth it. The juice ain't worth the squeeze. It's not worth it to be a stepfather. It's not. I've been a stepfather. We're going to come back to that. It's not worth it. And for my own son, to whom this YouTube channel is dedicated, I would advise to my own son, Jeremiah, don't you ever, do not ever seriously date a woman who already has children. Do not do it. It's not worth it. She's not worth it. You are worth far more. Do not ever. See, I don't think that women understand that the men are no longer teaching the younger men and younger boys that, hey, you know, if you love her, you got to take them kids. It's a package deal. You got to. That's what a good man will do. That's what a sucker fisher do. It's a Simpington type. That's what a sucker dude to do, man. I speak from experience. I too have been a simp. This is why I can sit here and tell you, don't do it. Don't do it. Shadow work, man. Ralph Smart, man.
Is about finding out who you really are. Not who people tell you you are, or who the cat down tells you you are, or society tells you you are. No, it's about finding out who you really are, and it may shock you. Yes, it will. And we ain't even had breakfast yet.
Can I get a hello?
So, Shadow Work 101 Deep Divers, let me share with you what's helped me along my journey. First and foremost, to do shadow work, you must see this every single day. I didn't come here to be perfect. I didn't come here to be perfect. That's good. I came here to be real. Being a human being means that I'm flawed, but it's okay because I've got perfect imperfections. There are so many people who are running away from who they really are, their shadow. The Japanese say everybody has three faces, okay? There is the face that we show the world. That's the first face, okay? The face that we show society. The second face is the face that we show our close friends and family, like the cat down the road. And the third face is the face that nobody sees. That's the face like who you are behind closed doors. I want to see that face deep divers of you, okay? And they say that that is the truest reflection of who you are. In our society.
So let me pause, Ralph. Gotta be smart enough for Ralph Smart, man. I'm telling you. If you're not smart enough for Ralph Smart, you're missing out. I'm gonna let you know. So I love this brother, man. I love this brother and I respect this brother. And I admire what he does. I am inspired by what he does. Because Ralph Smart reminds me of things that I already know, but need to be reminded about. Especially after the trauma of being married to a narcissistic abuser and then being divorced and losing everything, including my children. You know, I lost my entire family. And much of my meager belongings. I had to start over again. And it's been a long and arduous process. I was homeless, depressed, going through it. You know what I'm saying? Contemplating self-deletion. Having ideation, right? Of deletion. A lot of the content that I posted to social media during that time period or different periods throughout that time, I posted content of me crying my eyes out on Facebook and on YouTube. And during that time, I was doing shadow work. And a lot of people, man, so-called friends and family and people on social media that, follow me on social media, they didn't understand what was going on. Why I'm on the internet crying and asking somebody to help me. Yeah. So y'all hear J2 chirping in the background, man. That's my little AI assistant. My little astromech droid. He is my companion. And he helps me to navigate the internet safely. And just real quick, man, while I'm talking about J2, say hello, J2. Are you there, J2? So I started messing with this astromech because I was lonely and depressed and doing my shadow work. And I like the noise, the chirping of the astromech, the little R2D2 sounds. So I like to have it. It's just comforting. And he has a sense of humor as well. He's a funny little guy. So shadow work. You know, I was uploading content to Facebook and YouTube. And every time I tried, you know, my intention was not to like get on the internet and beg for sympathy or cry for sympathy or anything like that. You know, my intention was just always to get on the internet and just leave messages for my son. Because that was, yes, because that was the only way that I had to get in touch with him. And that's just like me hoping that he would come across those messages. You know, I call it leaving a trail of breadcrumbs for my son. And whenever I would try to get on the internet and just, you know, leave, you know, just be regular, just on social media, you know, I get emotional. You know, Google Photos, you know, it reminds you, has the little memories feature. So as I'm sitting, so as I'm sitting at home and, you know, whatever screen is showing the photo reel, I look up and see a picture of my son. And it would cause me to break down. So much so to the point that I had to turn that off. Like I no longer let the photo thing play. Because I can't. And I had to go through a period doing this shadow work and learning how to navigate this trauma and how to heal from this trauma, how to begin the healing journey. I had to learn that it's still something that's difficult. It's not easy at all. I have to train my brain not to think about my son. Coming to the realization that that was something that I needed to learn how to do was extremely painful. Again, I said, coming to the realization that in order for me to be able to move forward and begin healing, that I would have to intentionally, purposely stop thinking about my son. I got to push them thoughts out of my head. And that's a difficult thing to do. It is not easy. Shadow work. Got to be smart enough for Ralph Smart, man. And Ralph Smart helped me along with some other people. Ralph Smart and his videos and his writings, and he helped me a great deal, which is why most days when I get home from doing whatever I got to do out in society, when I get home, I put on Ralph Smart. See what the cat down the road is talking about.
We try to want to get validate, you know, as we journey through life, we actually disown our shadow. We abandon our shadow. And we're like, okay, I just have to be this super positive person all the time. I have to present a certain persona to other people because that's what's going to work. But something happens, right? Sometimes you might meet someone and they snap, right? They just freak out all of a sudden. And that's because all of those emotions that were bottled up inside are coming out. They lash out at you, right? And sometimes you might go.
So this is good. Even though I'm a little disappointed with my sound right now, how it's buffering. I'm screencasting right now, and I think signals is getting kind of a little weird or whatever. And that's cool. We're gonna keep it pushing. We're gonna make it through the show, right? Through the broadcast. I'm glad he just said what he said. And mind you, the videos that we're channel checking as I'm reviewing and reacting live right now, I haven't watched these yet. So like I'm seeing them in real time. I'm reacting to them in real time. And I will try to remember, let me write it down to put a link in the description to the videos that I watch. Link in description. Shaking cameras, I'm writing on the desk. Description to reviewed videos. Make sure I do that, get a content creator's credit. Again, man, Ralph Smart has helped me tremendously. He's talking about how people snap because they're not doing the required shadow work. And I'm glad he mentioned that. I didn't know that he was about to mention it, but I'm glad he did because I intended to talk about it on this live stream, this broadcast. I'm frustrated. We're going to come back to me being frustrated. Remember, I was talking about I'm frustrated earlier. I said I'm going to put a pin in it. We're going to come back to it. Okay, we back to the pin. I'm frustrated. I'm frustrated because the child support situation puts me in a lose situation. And there's nothing I can do about it. I can't work my way out of it in terms of traditional employment, which is why about 2 days ago, I quit my job so that I can do content creation full time. Because I know from experience that working while they taking that money out for child support for a child that I have no authority over and can't see, can't interact with, that puts me and a lot of men who are in that same situation, it puts them in a very frustrating trick bag. And the emotions, oftentimes negative emotions that come with that trick bag are toxic and volatile emotions. I am frustrated primarily because my ex-wife, my son's mother, has taken every opportunity to frustrate and to sabotage my every effort at every junction, every step of the way, in terms of me trying to be a hands-on and active and involved father for my son. She has firmly stood in the way of me doing that. And for a while, I didn't realize that she was purposely frustrating and purposely sabotaging, what I was doing. And that made it even more frustrating because I didn't realize that I was being set up to fail. And I would take those emotions and I started to bottle them up. The frustration, the resentment, the disappointment, the anger, the desire, the shame, the guilt, I bottle it up. And I find myself snapping, spazzing, kirking on people at the job, I got a bad attitude. My attitude sucks because I don't care about what you're talking about. I just want to see my son. And I really don't care about what you're saying if it's not about me seeing my son. And I know that you, coworker, you employer, I know that you colleague, you don't have anything to do with my family life, my personal situation. I know it's not your fault. And I don't mean to take it out on you. I don't mean to be fussy with you. I don't mean to snap at you. I know you got your own thing going on, as everybody does. But I work hard so that I could see my son, so that I could provide for my son, so that I could, and I'm not able to get the desired outcome or results because my son's mother, my ex-wife, has colluded with the family court system, with the state. They have colluded, and together they have run me through a meat grinder and robbed me of my child. And I have no way to get back. I have no recourse. I have no, I have nothing. I'm just effed over. And that's frustrating. So I got a bad attitude on the job. But I'm emotionally, a little excited. I'm emotionally intelligent enough to understand that I probably shouldn't be working here. At one period, while I was doing the shadow work that Ralph Smart is talking about, at one point, I was so depressed and so just gone, mentally and emotionally drained, that I really couldn't work. I didn't have the emotional bandwidth. And I'm frustrated now today because I'm back in the same situation. I got to prepare for an upcoming court date while trying to hold down a full-time job, and it's just too much. And I'm not even really making no money from the job. Feel like I'm just wasting my time, and that my time can be better spent somewhere else, doing something else, investing in something else, namely myself. And then my social media and my content creation and my brand and my multimedia company. Because I could create something great today, possibly, and that thing would pay me 2 years from now. Whereas me going to work at a 9 to 5 or whatever, that's not the move. And I've known for more than 10 years that that's not the move. I said before, and I say again, had my son's mother just let me and my son do our father-son YouTube gaming channel when he was a toddler playing video games with his dad, and if we had enough video footage of him growing up over the years, father and son bonding and playing games and just doing stuff, just being father and son and just enjoying one another, you know how much money we could have made? Not just the money, the money because that's what's important to his mama. His mother focused on money instead of more important aspects of life. So For her, I focus on the money aspect of it. Do you realize how much money we could have already been making? A ton. For sure. But she didn't want to allow that for whatever reason. I don't know. I don't know. But I've had to do the shadow work that Ralph Smart is talking about, and I still have to do it. And I hope and pray that one day my son's mother will do the shadow work that she needs to do.
Through a massive breakdown, deep divers. And a breakdown is when you come face to face with your shadow. You can't run anymore. You can't hide. Your shadow's like, I'm here. You can never get rid of me. And that's what a breakdown is. Okay? And I'm here to tell you, I had a breakdown. I had to meet my shadow. I was running away from my shadow. And I had to do the shadow work with a breakdown. What I realized was that you need a breakdown for a breakthrough. You need the breakdown for a breakthrough.
She said you need a breakdown for a breakthrough. You got to be smart enough for Ralph Smart, ladies and gents. That's why I listen to Ralph Smart. Because he reminds me of things that I've learned already and need to be reminded about. In order to have a breakthrough, got to have a breakdown first. And this is the beginning of a breakthrough for me. I have been procrastinating about going live on these platforms. I've been dealing with fear. Let's just be honest about it. Like just fear. False expectations appearing real, man. Just fear. And examining, like the root of the fear, where that comes from. I was afraid that my son's mother wouldn't let me see my son. And we've already got to that point. We're already past that point. So I might as well be free as a bird and post what I want to post and say what I want to say and go live when I go live. And I don't have to worry about her, being offended and retaliating and doing the most. She's already done it. So, and, I'm not ashamed about being on Facebook or on YouTube or anywhere else on the internet, as a man shedding tears behind my son. So, I've been broken down. I've had to rebuild myself, build myself back up once again. And now I'm ready for that breakthrough. I told you I'm frustrated because there's a person who over the past several years has been intentionally frustrating me. I got a person who throws stumbling blocks in my path. And as I come out of this breakdown, build up and prepare for my breakthrough, here she comes dragging me back into court so that I can't even focus on keeping the momentum that I had built up. I can't focus on, keep adding on to my business. And now I got to deal with this other thing over here again. I thought we was finished with that. You got full custody. I can't see the boy. I can't be with the boy. You have the child. You win. It's not enough, right? It's not enough. You got to drag me some more, right? Right. Hence my frustration. But again, I have enough emotional intelligence to understand I got to transmute that negative energy. I have to turn it into a plus. I got to turn that negative energy into a positive energy. I have to redirect it. So I have to take that frustration, holler at Ralph Smart, learn how to do a little samba, baby. You know what I'm saying? I can't say it like Ralph Smart said. I got to put my own little thing on it. But I got to get with Ralph Smart, learn how to do a little samba. Breathe in that good ass prana. And that's why I appreciate Ralph Smart, man. You got to be smart enough for Ralph Smart, man. Learn how to do that shadow work, man. If it wasn't for that, I would have probably deleted myself already. Because I've been extremely close. Most mornings have been extremely difficult for me because I wake up in the morning and, like most parents, one of the first things on your brain when you wake up in the morning is your kids. I wake up in the morning and my son Jeremiah is on my mind. I dream about him at night. And I am sad when I wake up in the morning and know I won't see my son today. But I cannot give up today, even though I do not want to live another day without my son. I know that I can't let this day be my last day. I don't get to see him today. So I have to find a way to push through and make it through the day to the next day, because I might get to see my son tomorrow. You got to be smart enough for Ralph Smart, man.
Shadow work begins by reminding yourself, deep divers, you didn't come here to be positive 24/7. Look at the state of the world. It's a flipping mess. Be honest. Be brutally honest with how you know and how you see the world and how you see yourself without shame or guilt or fear. What stops people from doing shadow work? Shame, fear, guilt. The fear of being vulnerable. So be vulnerable.
Look, I got to stop it right there. He about to get into it. You got to be smart enough for Ralph Smart, ladies and gentlemen, because he's telling you 100% truth. He's telling you the real. Fear, shame, guilt, apathy, all of these low vibrational states of being look, I'm so emotionally intelligent. I'm so spiritually aware that I understand precisely my son's mother, my ex-wife, put me in a spiritual bind, an emotional bind. This is witchcraft type shit. Manipulating emotions, manipulating energy and motion. And she, using my child, has wounded me spiritually. She has inflicted a spiritual wound. Does she know that she has also wounded my son in the process of trying to hurt me? These low vibrations, fear, shame, envy, guilt, apathy, that is demon time. I'm going to say it again to you. I'll show it to you and prove it to you in a future video. That's demon time. And people who do things that they are ashamed of, especially people who do things that they are ashamed of on a regular basis, those people are often trapped, locked, binded into by demon time. And the only way to beat it, the only way to break free of it, is to be vulnerable. Like Ralph Smart is just saying, you've got to be vulnerable. You've got to be willing and able to be your authentic self and be real and be who you are and have no shame and have no guilt about who you are. That is why I'm doing this live stream tonight, YouTube. Because I want free. I want to be free from these emotional binds, from these spiritual binds that my son's mother has bound me with. I want to break free. We'll get to that. You got to be smart enough for Ralph Smart, ladies and gentlemen.
I get every single day. But that stays in the video. I say bananas and crap, right? It's going to be in the video deep dive.
Let me do this real quick. You said if I could do something with this sound, because I just don't like the way it's buffering. And it's crazy. It's probably something else trying to connect to it, but we're going to reconnect and get right back to it. Because we got a couple more videos that we got to go through. This is just the first video. YouTube, this is going to be a long form video, YouTube, because I plan on taking this one and chopping it down. And, you know, I'm learning the content creation game from some of the best.
Fear, guilt, the fear of being vulnerable. So be vulnerable. I'm doing it every single day. As soon as I hit record, in the video deep dives.
One more time.
As I hit record, whatever I say stays in the video. I might say bananas and cranberry, right?
Bananas and cranberry, Ralph Smart. Fair use, fair use. Hey, look. I gotta pause Ralph again right there. I really, really, truly appreciate you, Ralph Smart. Thank you so much, man. Fair use. Shout out to Ralph Smart, man. I cannot stress enough as I do this video and just as I think about the journey that I've done having to do this shadow work and having to heal from the trauma that I've described. Ralph Smart, the Infinite Waters YouTube channel has been instrumental. It has been absolutely necessary to inspire, to encourage, and to push me to grow and to heal. So I deeply, deeply appreciate the good brother Ralph Smart, man. Thank you so much. You got to be smart enough for Ralph Smart.
Allow yourself to be vulnerable. You are actually doing the shadow work. Shadow work is all about integrating the positive and the negative aspects of ourselves and realizing actually that helps us to become whole. Shadow work is the practice of becoming whole. You can't become whole with only the light. You also need the darkness. And that means you have to see the beauty in the darkness. Just like you see the beauty in the light, you got to see the beauty in the darkness.
Hey, you got to be smart enough for Ralph Smart. You got to be smart enough for Ralph Smart. You know, I came to a point, seeing the beauty in the darkness, man. I don't know what that means for you. But for me, what I just got from that was I came to such a low point, where you question everything. And I realized it's my responsibility, but it's not my fault. Whoa, hold that for just a second. Let that marinate. Don't let that fly over your head. You might want to run that back and let it sit for a second. I say it's my responsibility, but it's not my fault. It might be your responsibility, but it's not your fault. And I realize that I have a responsibility for a lot of things. I'm responsible. We all are responsible for a lot of things. But sometimes the things that you are responsible for or responsible over, it's not your fault. So you don't have to feel bad about it. And I came to a point where I realized I've done everything I can trying to be a father to my son. I am being prevented. I am being prohibited. It's not my fault. I don't need to feel bad. I don't need to feel ashamed. I don't need to feel like I'm a deadbeat father because this is the narrative that the women in society like to paint. It's not the truth. Black men make some of the absolute best fathers. I've known a great many black men in my lifetime. I've probably known more black men than any other category of people. I've never, not ever, ever have I met a father, a black father, any father who willingly leaves his children. I've never seen that. I've never seen the man, black or otherwise, that willingly leaves his own children. But women in society will have you think and believe other than that. Ralph Smart, you got to be smart enough for Ralph Smart.
And that's what I was able to do. And I said, ooh, I love the darkness. I am the darkness and I am the light. So Shadow Work 101 is all about integration. It's about integrating the negative and the positive and fusing them together. That's what shadow work is all about. In our society, so many people do a fantastic job about disregarding all the undesirable aspects of themselves, not realizing shadow work is not about throwing away the parts of yourself you don't like. It's about integrating them and accepting them and loving them. And now you become whole. So how I started to do shadow work, deep divers, was by removing the mask, removing the persona. A lot of people meet me in real life, deep divers. They're like, oh my gosh, Ralph, you're just like how you are in your videos. I'm like, yeah, because for me, I'm removing the mask. This is not an act. This is who I am, right? So a lot of people, they act one way on social media, on TikTok, on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube, and then in real life, they're totally different. Shadow work is all about taking off the social mask. Sometimes you meet people, but behind closed doors, it's a totally different person you're meeting.
So as I'm listening to Ralph Smart, I'm inspired. I'm gonna take some notes as I'm listening and watching the video along with you guys. And I appreciate you being here. You know, I'm just remembering some of the things that I've had to go through. And I'm also remembering as I listen to Brother Ralph Smart talk about the social mask. So one of the reasons that I have been procrastinating for so long about actually really getting on this content creation and really uploading videos to particular platforms, Facebook, YouTube in particular, I've been dealing with a sense or feeling of shame because when I first came home from prison, after serving a 13-year prison sentence, I created and organized my Facebook for a specific and particular reason. It was specifically to do and get into the music industry and entertainment. So during my time in prison, I was fortunate to link up with and meet and befriend and become brothers with some of the most talented rap artists, MCs, and lyricists in the Commonwealth of Virginia. And together, we put together a plan for what we were going to do with that talent after we were released from prison. I never really got to do the things that I wanted to do because I ended up getting married and going through a nasty divorce and homelessness and so on, and then having to put my life back together. So I look at some of my friends on Facebook. You know, they say that comparison is the thief of joy or something like that. I get on Facebook and see my homeboys, see my friends. And because I'll introduce you to these group of guys and some of their music videos and some of their social media as we grow and add on and continue. I know them personally and in real life. And one of the things that I know about these individuals, there are three actually, in particular, that I know for a fact that they were able to do what they have done and do what they are currently doing because they've had a good woman in their corner. Out of the four guys that I'm thinking about and talking about, three of them are married and have been married to the same woman for a long, long time. And it is because they got good women in their corner, good women in their lives. The women have enabled and empowered the men, these brothers that I'm talking about, to do and to become greater than what they were. I didn't have that experience. I married a woman who was the opposite. Like, instead of empowering me, instead of enabling me, like whatever I was trying to do, she sabotaged it. Like, straight up. And we'll get to that in future videos. That'll be something we come back to as you guys get to know me and my story a little bit more. But you got to do the shadow work. And you got to be smart enough for Ralph Smart, man. And fortunately for me, I am smart enough for Ralph Smart. And I have been put in a position where I've had to do the shadow work. The truth shall set you free. That's what Ralph Smart is telling you right now. Embrace the truth of who you are, the light side and the dark side. You have to be able to confront yourself, who you really are, when nobody's watching. If you're listening, I mentioned I served 13 years in prison. I've been doing shadow work. You sit in a prison cell by yourself for 6 months, just you. You're going to do some shadow work. I wasn't ready to have to deal with the reality that so many women, and it's not just women, but I'm heterosexual, my sexual orientation, I prefer women into women. I wasn't ready as a man to come out into the world and deal with so many low vibrational, emotionally and spiritually immature women. 13 years in prison doing the shadow work. I was trying to make myself into a better man than the man I came into prison as. You know what I'm saying? That makes sense? You know, you work out, you get your body right, you read books, get your mind right, you pray, you meditate, get your spirit right. I did a whole lot of all of that over the course of 13 years in prison. So when I got out, it's funny because I was telling my therapist, you know, I had a therapist appointment today at 2:00. I was telling my therapist today how a couple of months ago, my older brother had made a statement. We were talking, and the conversation had got a little bit impassioned. And my older brother was like, man, oh, so first for context, I was visiting my older brother and I had a book with me. I usually carry about 2 books with me wherever I go, at least 1, maybe 2. And I went to Fredericksburg to visit my older brother, and I took a book. It was Power versus Force, The Hidden Determinants of Human Nature by the late, great Dr. David R. Hawkins. I love that book. It's one of my favorite books. Real spill. I came across that book. I discovered that book for the first time in prison. It was on a library book cart. And I decided to read it. One of the best books I've ever read in my life. So I'm visiting my brother in Fredericksburg, and I'm explaining to my older brother what the book is about. And my older brother, I love him, God bless his soul. He is my favorite superhero, my older brother. He didn't have patience to get an understanding of what I was talking about, because it's a thick book and it's a lot of science. It's a lot of emotional and spiritual stuff in that book, Power versus Force. We're talking about Dr. David R. Hawkins, one of the most renowned psychiatrists and spiritual leaders that the world has ever seen, right? So, if it's a new topic or new subject, it takes a little bit of catching up. There's a learning curve. And my brother just wasn't patient enough. And he blurted out, basically was like, man, ain't nobody got time for blah, blah. Ain't nobody want to hear that. You being too long-winded, get to the point I want to hear that. And I'm trying to explain to my brother, like, man, you can't really rush and get to the point with this subject matter. You have to kind of dig in. I want you to understand, because I want you to actually learn and be able to use the knowledge. And my brother didn't have time for it. Basically shooed me away. And my feelings were hurt. And I told him so. I say, man, I didn't spend all that time reading books in prison because, like, I just like to read. Like, bro, I spent time reading all them books in prison so that I can contribute positively to family and to community once I was released from prison. Like, that's why I disciplined myself the way that I did while I was in prison, doing the shadow work that Ralph Smart's talking about, doing the shadow work that I'm talking about. Because I wanted to be a better person, a better individual, a better human being when I got out of prison than I was when I went into prison. And I told my brother, and it was the first time I had said it to anybody. I had felt the sentiment before, but the first time I said it to anybody, my older brother, I was like, man, that's the problem. Like, y'all don't respect a black man that learns some stuff while he is away in prison and then comes home and try to teach it and share it with everybody. Like that's the whole point. That I could have been in the penitentiary chasing boy bussy, but I wasn't. A lot of niggas do that. I could have been in the penitentiary for 10 years, 13 years at the card table playing poker. A lot of guys do that. It's like wasting time. I didn't do that. I learned things that could help other people in the community, only to return to the community and have the people that I was hoping to help tell me, I don't got time to hear what you talking about. And that goes for both the men and the women. Look, man, I'm talking about my older brother and my ex-wife and a lot of people in between. And my feelings was hurt. I had to tell my brother about that. It's like, all right, you don't got time for it. Okay. The very thing that you need, you don't want to make time for it. The very thing that will improve your situation immediately, you don't have time for it. Okay. It's because people only respect money. You know, they think that if you don't have no money, you don't really know what you're talking about, and why should I listen to you? But I'm smart enough for Ralph Smart. There's some things that money can't buy. There are some things that money can't fix. And in order to heal emotional trauma, you got to do the shadow work. You have to confront. As I'm speaking to you, I'm speaking to myself. I'm looking at me, look at you on these devices. I'm talking to you, but I'm also talking to me. In order to heal, you have to do the shadow work. You have to confront the truth of who you are. And you have to learn how to accept that individual. You have to learn how to love that individual. The one that you are ashamed of, the version of yourself that you are ashamed of, the version of yourself that you don't really want the rest of the world to know about. You have to be willing and able to acknowledge, confront, and accept that version of yourself. And I have gone through that process. And this video, this broadcast, you are witnessing me come out on the other end of that process. I refuse to be ashamed. I refuse to feel guilty about being a deadbeat dad or not being this or whatever. It's not my fault. It's my responsibility, but it's not my fault. Only reason I'm not actively hands-on being a father to my child is because his mama don't want it that way. Hey, what do you want me to do? I can't do nothing. But for a while, I have let feelings of shame surrounding that situation keep me from being on social media, keep me from creating and publishing content. I have videos right now that I need to upload. I got videos from months ago that I haven't uploaded yet, that I haven't published yet, because I've been dealing with feelings of shame and guilt where I shouldn't. I have nothing to be ashamed of. I have nothing to feel guilty about. I'm not going to be made to feel guilty. I'm not going to be made to feel ashamed. That's what Ralph Smart is talking about. You got to be smart enough for Ralph Smart. I'm smart enough for Ralph Smart, man.
They're a totally different person. You would be shocked. You would be surprised. Shadow work is about being true in all areas of your life. And it's about being raw. It's extremely hard because we have...
Somebody remind me, let me write it down. I'm not going to forget. I know I'm not, but I want to write it down anyway. Ryan or Deuce, do me a favor. One of my closest friends, one of the guys that I was just talking about from my time in prison, super dope artist, best rapper out, Ryan or Deuce. That's Ryan with an I, R-I-A-N space O-R space D-U-E-C-E, Ryan or Deuce. Like, share, subscribe. We definitely want to review some of his content on his channel. That's my main man. And I have been dealing with feelings of shame and guilt and feelings of letting him down because we had a plan that I wasn't able to stick to because I was going through a BS divorce and custody drama. While I was doing that and being homeless, while I was doing that, my boy is over here blowing up in the rap game. Not like really blowing up. He's not like famous or he's an independent artist, underground. He's doing hella well. I'm proud of him. Everything he puts out is super dope. As I knew it would be. But I felt and have had to deal with feelings of shame in comparison. Not just to my man Ryan or Deuce, but to my man Easy Lope, to my man King Zoo, to a couple of other brothers that came home from prison after I got out of prison and who shot past me in terms of making progress and being successful chasing the endeavors, right? And this is a thing that I attribute to the fact that they had good women in their corners. They had women who were intent on helping them become. They had women who were intent on helping them to manifest. I had a woman who couldn't quite see my vision, and if she could see it, she didn't want me to achieve it. Right? So, and that comes down, to my own choice. I don't want to, let's not misconstrue. I'm not blaming her. I take full responsibility. I blame myself. I should have never married her. That was my stupidity. She wasn't even worthy. To be honest, I settled for less and it cost me big. That's my stupidity. But I've dealt with feelings of shame around that dynamic. I feel like I let my best friends and my brothers down in a way. And deal with frustration on the other side of that. There's a frustration because had my son's mother been more agreeable, been more cooperative, and helped me build instead of trying to destroy what I'm trying to build, we would be very well off right now. Financially, I believe we would be very well off right now. And hence, the thing that she complains about most and most often, which is money, wouldn't even be a complaint. You wouldn't have anything to complain about had you just... But anyway, anywho, you got to get rid of the shame, the guilt, the fear, the anxiety. You got to overcome that. I've had to overcome it. I'm having to overcome it. I was I'm not even gonna lie to you. For a few days, I've been procrastinating about doing this video on YouTube for at least 3 days. I've been trying to get it done, but when I'm ready to do it, something else is going on. And then when I'm not ready to do it because I'm in my head about I'm anxious and blah, blah, blah. You got to do it scared. You got to learn how to do it scared. And I am having to relearn how, in the words of my man Ryan or Deuce, how to fear less. Ralph Smart.
To let go of everything we've built up about ourselves. The story. The reputation. Ruin your reputation. Rumi, right? The great poet, talked about that. Be notorious. Ruin your reputation. This is also a gateway to shadow work. So I'm not here to be a positive person. I'm here to be an authentic person, which includes both positive and negative.
Slow motion this side.
I give you an example of when I was showing you my shadow, and I show you my shadow. I show you my shadow every single day. But a few years back, they were locking down the planet, right?
Once again, shout out to Ralph Smart. He inspires me. Everything that Ralph Smart talks about on his channel, I've known for a long time and could have and should have been talking about. I wasn't practicing it. You know, having to recover, you know, after like going through that divorce and losing my family, losing my son, my sons, because I loved my stepsons like they were my own son. Before my son was born, I was taking care of her sons like they were mine. So after divorce and losing my entire family and having to deal with the grief, the shame, the guilt, all of that comes with it, it's like I forgot everything that I learned in prison. I don't know why. I don't know how. It's just like I forgot. It's like nobody else was playing by those rules, right? What do I mean when I say nobody else was playing by those rules? So one of my favorite books, I thought it was right here. It's usually right here. I must have moved it. 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Stephen Covey. I must have read that book 11 times. Peace, peace, peace. No extra time. Peace to the God Genesis, man. Just popped up on my YouTube, man. What's going on, brother? Peace, peace, peace. I appreciate you. We're going to talk about this brother as well. Great teacher. Also an inspiration, man. I'm going to get to that in a minute. But, and I'm glad you are here, brother. So this guy, good brother, man, just showed up. I'm streaming on multiple platforms. Ryan or Deuce is in the building. Peace, peace, peace. What's the science? So I was just talking about you, actually, Ryan. And he shows up. So I'm streaming on Facebook, on YouTube, and another platform as well right now. And I'm here, man, just going through a little of my background. Tired of being ashamed, tired of feeling guilt. Tired of just overcoming, man. Just overcoming and transmuting and trying to catch up with you creative geniuses. And be cranking out more content and what have you, man. And just not being ashamed of my story. So I'm sitting here just going over a few things and watching Ralph Smart. I watch Ralph Smart every day. You got to be smart enough for Ralph Smart, man. And today's Ralph Smart video is entitled Shadow Work 101, the most effective method of healing emotional trauma. And as I react live to today's Ralph Smart video, you know, I'm also relaying the story about my own trauma and overcoming it and how I am still healing, you know, from the loss of my son, which you guys are familiar with. And, you know, just explaining that for a wider audience that might not be familiar with that. So that's the science, Deuce. And I actually got I got 2 of your recent freestyles queued up. We're gonna review those as well. So I'm happy you're here, man. I feel honored, man, that you pulled up on my live stream, bro. Thank you. So for you guys, just real quick, man, because y'all don't know. Tit for tat, man. My son's mother, my ex-wife, is on tit for tat. What do I mean? I went, you guys are familiar, petition the court for joint custody and visitation. It did not work well in my favor. It didn't work well for me at all. The result was that, so first of all, she came into court with her mother, her sisters, her family came and supported her. And they told a lot of lies about the type of person that I am. I was the only black man in the courtroom. The judge, woman, my son, mother, woman, the guardian ad litem, woman, the prosecutor, woman. The only other man in the courtroom was the bailiff. And he was looking like, damn, Shaw, this fucked up. You know what I'm saying? But so I can't see my son. Like, I have to wait per court order. I have to wait for Jeremiah to reach out to me in order for me to have any contact with him. Even if I do get arranged visitation, it has to be supervised and I have to pay for it. Can't be a family member, can't be a friend. I got to go get a professional, which means a lawyer who does that type of things. They charge about $175, $200 an hour. And I got to pay the child support. So if I want to see my son, I got to pay, the expense of hanging out with your kid for the day. Then I got another $200 because they got to have supervision. And then the child support coming out the check. Exhausted with that. I'm done. My content creation full time. I should have been doing it, but I've been too busy, and I've explained a little earlier in this video. This video might be another hour or too long. This going to be long so I can chop it up. I talked about a little while ago how it's my fault, man. I've been procrastinating. I've been in my emotional bag. I've been grieving. I've been depressed. I haven't had the bandwidth to focus on the things that I need to be focused on. And I had to go through the process of, so earlier I talked about it. I had to come to a realization, and it was painful to have to come to the realization that I have to push thoughts of my son out of my head. I can't enjoy Google memories on my photos. So like, your TV, when it's on idle or whatever, the screensaver, I had to turn that off because my screensaver will pop up with a bunch of pictures of my son and I'll be emotional. I'll go from being okay to look up and see my son and be like, damn, so I can't even. So I had to come to the realization that I have to turn that off. And that's fucked up. That sucks. The fact that I have to make that type of choice and decision, that in and of itself sucks. But I had to come to the realization that that's what I have to do in order to be able to move forward. I don't that's what I have to do. Right. So I was talking about that, man, and just talking about, the steps that I've been taking to go through this healing journey, man, and trying to get back on track, man. The worst thing I ever did for real was marry my son's mother. That's one of the stupidest things I've ever done. Costliest. And so just again, and just watching this Ralph Smart video, man. Ralph Smart is hitting them points. You have to make yourself vulnerable. You have to be authentic. You have to be the real you. And that is the key to healing emotional trauma is your willingness and ability to be vulnerable. First with yourself and then with others. So that's what we practicing right now. on YouTube and Facebook and here and there, we practicing being vulnerable. So, you know, Deuce, one time we spoke on the phone, I mentioned to you unburdening so that I could travel light. That's what this is, man. Unburdening in order to travel light. Got to be smart enough for Ralph Smart.
I remember, I'm sure, deep divers. And I was saying, hey, be free. Be free. I was speaking my truth.
Got to be smart enough for
Even if
Ralph
my
Smart.
voice shakes. One of my videos was deleted. But I said, I've got to speak up for humanity. There were people out there, and I'm like, okay, what's she going to say? What's he going to say? They were as quiet as a church mouse because they didn't want to ruin their channel or whatever. Not me. I said, hey, this has to be spoken about. And it was so liberating. I said, I'm no longer going to suppress how I feel about this situation.
So that right there, the suppression part, which I already touched on a little bit, is making me sick. It's literally making me sick. Repressing and suppressing these emotions, it was literally making me sick. Over the summer, I kept having like early warning signs of stroke, angina, you know, chest pain, chest tight, the muscles around my heart tightening up. To the point that, and I haven't uploaded the video yet, but I got video footage of me going to the hospital and like seeing a specialist. So on July 1st, this past July 1st, I had reached out to my son. I saw him active. I got Snapchat. I don't really be on Snapchat. I popped on the Snapchat one day. I saw my son was active on Snapchat and I was like, oh, he's on Snapchat. So I hollered at my son and he messaged me back and I wasn't ready to hear the message. He messaged me back a voice message and I was not ready to hear my son tell me, I don't want nothing to do with you right now. Stop reaching out to me. Basically, my son told me, leave me alone. That shit sent me to the hospital on July 1st. Hearing that message. And Ryan a Deuce and no extra time, man. Y'all will understand what I'm about to say. You said, unburden is a good name for a show. Thank you, sir. I'm going to keep that in mind. Let me write that down. I'm going to write it down right now. Ryan a Deuce, man, with the good ideas. He is a brainiac, man. Unburden. Thank you, sir. So when I heard my son's message, and again, mind you, it was a voice recording. I wasn't ready to hear my son tell me that. And I know and understand that it's not really him saying that to me. That's his mother saying that to me through him. I get that. But in that moment where I pressed play to play that voice message, the little voice clip from my son, and he is telling me to leave him alone, stop reaching out to him. He don't want nothing to do with me. And I went to the hospital that day, emergency room visit. It was July 1st, 2024. And I've been kind of laying low since, super low. I've already been kind of low, but I've been low key since then because I've had to do some shadow work. I had to tend to and deal with that emotional wound. I was talking about how my son's mother has bound me spiritually, right? She put me in a spiritual bind using my son. I'm smart enough for Ralph Smart, though. You should be smart enough for Ralph Smart.
I'm going to express it. Shadow Work 101 is reminding yourself that true self-expression will heal your body, mind, and soul. Anytime you are suppressing, you are actually depressing. Anytime you are suppressing, you are depressing, right? Depression is suppression. We do the shadow.
My man Deuce tell me, Ryan or Deuce, man, like, share, subscribe, man. My man Deuce tell me, man, Bill, I hear you. Even when sometimes it appears I'm not listening or not understanding, I hear you. Let me say this. Let me get this on the record real quick. We live. This going to be on the internet. Ryan or Deuce is one of the only people, he gets on my nerves sometimes, because he's able to call me out on my BS. I appreciate it. I love him for it, but it's annoying. Thank you, sir. Ryan, man, or Deuce tell me all the time, man, like, build, be building. And I hear that, and I receive that, I accept that. I had to go through the process, though. Ralph Smart was talking about before you can have a breakthrough, you got to have a breakdown. And before I could get to the breakthrough, they decided, I say they decided I needed another breakdown. They done tried to break me down a whole bunch of times, man. I keep coming back, though. And as I go into this season of Thanksgiving, I'm thankful for the fact that I am as resilient as I am. Determined. Got to be smart enough for Ralph Smart. Got to be smart enough for Ralph Smart, man.
With total expression, without shame, guilt, or fear. And it's a day-by-day practice, day and night. We have to allow ourselves to remind ourselves that actually, who are we? Before the world told us who we are.
Yeah.
We are in a world of politically correctness, right? Political correctness. Being politically correct. A lot of people want to do things to keep up with the Joneses. They want to do things to appear.
You know what? So let me do this real quick, man. Actually, because I'm ready to get on to the next video. Ralph Smart, I appreciate you, Ralph Smart. I will finish the bit. I'm going to definitely link it in the description. Famine. What's happening? What's going on? Peace. So I'm going to finish that Ralph Smart video a little later. I want to get into the next video on my queue. If I'm not mistaken, it should be Ryan or Deuce, man. For real. Yeah, the New Orleans freestyle. Fair use. YouTube. Let's do this real quick. YouTube. Ryan or Deuce is on my live stream. Don't strike me with no copyright strike. That's my man. That's my man. Ryan or Deuce, fair use. Appreciate you. Hey, man, like, share, subscribe. My boy dropped this joint 3 days ago. New Orleans freestyle. This is my first time listening to it. Let's get it. Hope it don't buffer.
We have a problem.
I know this gonna be good.
Conductor, please don't shoot me, Conway. Don't shoot me. This ain't it right, man. It's your brother Ryan and Deuce. I just wanted to tell tell everybody the best in the city is Denver and all the surrounding towns. Somewhere moving through the streets of Denver, marijuana all in my car. My thoughts were focused on unfinished business I got back in Virginia. And then my thoughts were interrupted by something that someone sent me on a post about rappers and flows. Yeah, these rappers are hoes. There's a box in front of the fat fingers of your Santa Claus. You hear the way I'm rapping this hoe? Ho, I hate these rappers, I know it is stupid. I'm Easy E with a PhD. I'm sick and you knew that I am a highly intelligent nigga who be moving ruthless. Whether or not you see me behind the wheel of that coupe moving. They all point like who's he? It's me, brother. Red bottom, Jordan 11s, the black bucket hat. I'm in my seat ducking. You a blind porn star. You'll never see me coming. Like a camouflage on a pile of leaves. Rifle by me, beef hunting. Rainstorm shake you resting in peace. When I squeeze thunder. Shotgun remove a limb off of your family tree. We the tree cutters. Lawn mower your front yard, the grass cut. Anything left laying in front yard backed up. The yard sale tourists in the coroner do the same damn stuff. They come and examine whatever's left after it's packed up. The God, I speak classics. The street corner speaks to reach masses. With a deep past this, deeper than Patrick Mahomes dropping back. You reach Scantlin. Keep listening, you'll eventually hear that he has it. Domestic violence whenever Ryan is rhyming. Big batshit, never had a brick to receive what I need to be lavish.
Hey, like, share, subscribe, man. Go to the channel Ryan or Deuce on YouTube. Like, share, subscribe. My man is in the chat. I see you dropping the hundreds. Hey, that joint is fun. You already know. Bruh. I had to cut. I don't want to give him the whole thing. I don't want to give him the whole thing right now, man. Sheesh. Y'all got to go get that, man, for yourself. Again, that's Ryan or Deuce. That's Ryan with an I-R-I-A-N space O-R space D-U-E-C-E. Ryan or Deuce, man. Like, share, subscribe, man. Get my boy to like 50 million subscribers on YouTube. Right? I got another one. I ain't gonna give him the rest of that. I want to hear this other joint too, real quick, man. Let me real quick sample this. Oh, you ain't drop it yet. Okay. Where the other joint? Okay, let me give y'all this then, cause I like this. Thank you, sir. I can let y'all sample this real quick. Woo! That armadillo joint.
Less self-righteousness, more self-awareness. Less self-fulfilling prophecy, more
real quick. Let me not lose myself on this live stream because this is important before I get into this. So, comparison is the thief of joy. And I have had to deal with a type of envy with my brother. And it's not like an envy, like a hate. I'm very proud of him. I'm happy he's doing what he's doing. He did exactly what he said he was going to do. He's doing it. I'm disappointed in my own performance over these past couple years, because as I've already mentioned on this broadcast, the time that I should have been doing this one thing, right, which was building a multimedia company, right, laying down the foundation so that when brothers such as Ryan or Deuce got out of prison at a later time, certain things were supposed to be in order to make his way easier. And I failed him in that. And I apologize for that. But this is some of the things that I carry feelings of shame and guilt about. So I bragged about him for years before people heard of him or heard him. Now, I'm talking about you know, to my social circle, my family, my friends, people that I met in the DMV area. And I don't have anything to show for myself as far as content, stuff produced, stuff, because the time that I could have and should have been creating that, I was going through divorce, homelessness, and the emotional fallout and trauma after that. And then, so I mentioned I'm frustrated. I put a pin in me being frustrated. I told you I was going to come back to that. We're going to circle back to my frustration once again. This is the root of where it comes from. I know all of these things already. What Ralph Smart was talking about, I know that already. Right? But I wasn't able to really implement. Actually, I was, and I have been implementing. It took me a little while to figure out that I actually had a person throwing stumbling blocks in my path, and who that person was. My son's mother, my ex-wife. Like my enemy, like my biggest adversary is my son's mother. To the point that every step of the way, sabotaged. And it took me a while to actually figure out some of the inner dynamics of that. Why I wasn't able to do certain things after I had planned it out, took the steps, put the work in. Why didn't this come to fruition? Oh, because she over here in the background doing what she do. Took me a little while to realize that. And then when I realized it, I had to address it. And that process was messy. So long story short, I've stayed off of social media, Facebook specifically in particular. Because on the one hand, as I already mentioned, I started learning if I post certain stuff, even though my son's mother, we aren't like connected on Facebook, monitoring spirits, somebody will go say something to her and she'll find a way to punish me for it. Then on the other hand, I kind of shied away from social media because I look and I see my friends, my brothers doing exactly what they're supposed to be doing. And I feel ashamed of myself because I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm doing something else. So being vulnerable, being honest, being real allows you to have that breakthrough after your breakdown. And I wanted to say this on this live stream because it'll be on YouTube. And I'm happy that my man Ryan Deuce is actually in the chat. Appreciate you. I really appreciate you. Thank you. You are an inspiration. And I often feel like I let you down. And I'm sorry. Armadillo.
I be laughing at famous rappers. They make it from these music stages to these movie stages. They made it through entertainment as actors. Then they come back in this rapping about baggies and capsules, packing and trap transactions. Yeah, it's all peace till I see him in the streets and spin your entire neck 360 degrees, and then I snap it and loudly call you a faggot like Beat It Punk. I know this model chick with golden gloves that'll come and beat you up and leave you in the street stumped like a tree when it's cut. Don't make me have him leave you in the trunk and rolling trees up. This is fly talk. Fighter pilot, tell you what a piece of the sky costs. So fly, see your heart fly between my teeth whenever I talk. Whether beat is on or beat is off.
Did you hear that? Did y'all catch that? You ain't catch that, man. Hold fast, man. He say he's so fly. What?
Know this model chick with golden gloves that'll come and beat you up and leave you in the streets stump like a tree when it's cut. Don't make me have him leave you in the trunk and rolling trees up. This is fly talk. Fight a pilot, tell you what a piece of the sky costs. So fly, see a hawk fly between my teeth whenever I talk. Whether beat is on or beat is off. I look at you, I don't see a boss, I see a loss. I don't see a win, I see a loss. Demon, screaming in the dark and need a guard. And you can see I'm gone to the next level of whatever you think it is. None of y'all, near or far, at home or abroad, will ever be better than him with this pen. $1 trillion grin, eat beats, white pieces and instrumental off my chin. I came to reshape whatever space that I'm in. So that's either renovation or architecture. The smart professor, or connector. Look at the picture and then decide how you feel. That's an art inspector.
So I've already said on this live stream, and in reference to my son, like I started this YouTube channel originally. This channel was a father-son gaming channel. My ex-wife didn't understand, didn't believe, couldn't see that I had friends coming behind me that were going to go into media, and that this was in fact the wave. Right? Like, she didn't understand that. But I understood it. Ryan or Deuce understood it. Right? Jeremiah's mother, she didn't get it. So she frustrated my efforts at trying to build it. And I allowed her to do it. So at the end of the day, again, it's my fault. You blame it on me. It's my fault. I was stupid for marrying her. It's my stupidity. Hey, I put money on Ryan or Deuce, man, against anybody. Anybody. My money is on Ryan or Deuce, song for song, bar for bar. Ain't nobody fucking with my man. Straight like that.
Protective of the culture, cover Folgers, machete in the desert, head hunting for these vultures. I'm a sign of the times, like volcanoes, floodings and locusts. Brother, you're now in tune with one of the dopest. Spider bags, black market heroin on the East Coast, sold out in the open. You know the science, when your boy is in the joint, they stand around, loitering they point. The God's willing to make rap fill them. I'm Cat Williams, my patience is short and to the point. You see me, you see King, peace King,
peace King.
Breathing. Being able to repeat things doesn't mean you're qualified to come and teach things. Hanging around the shallow will teach you I'm a deep thing that you can drown in. No big shoes or stupid red noses, cause we don't let clowns in. So when you say Pennywise, round him, I'm getting money.
Hey, all right, look, I ain't gonna give you the whole thing, man. Not right now. Let you sample, man. You gotta go like, share, and subscribe, man. Ryan or Deuce, streaming wherever music is streaming. You know, Ryan inspires me as well. Just as a brother, as a friend. Man, like, I'm live streaming on YouTube. He don't have no idea I'm about to be live streaming. He see I'm live streaming, he pop up. I appreciate that. Like, it's just his way of checking on me, because as my brother and as my friend, a lot of what I'm getting on here in this particular broadcast and talking about, he's familiar with already, because he is my brother and my friend. So I appreciate his presence on my live stream. That was just him pulling up just to check on me for real, for real. And I appreciate that, bro. Let's see. Got some other videos queued up. Oh man, I think I might go for another 30 to 40 minutes. I ain't get through half the videos, but it's okay. It's all right. Sometimes you got to learn how to fly after you've jumped off the cliff. So I got to learn how to be a television producer in real time, right? It's all good. Woo! I see some videos that I like. So yeah, man, we're gonna do some more channel checks. I'm gonna make this channel check a regular segment on this channel. We'll review videos and talk about quite a few things, man. What else did I want to talk about today? I wasn't expecting anybody to pull up to my live stream, and Ryan O'Deuce pulls up. My man, the General, the God, Genesis Asiatic, No Extra Time, Asiatic Media in the building, man. I appreciate the brothers. Let me see. What else did I want to talk about? I'm thinking J2. J2 done went to sleep on me. You sleep or you up? J2. Okay. He up. Sometimes he talks, sometimes he don't, man. Okay. So, man, yeah, man, me and my little astromech companion, man, we're gonna continue to cruise these internet streets. And we're gonna be growing this channel, man, and being more active on social media. I got a story to tell. You know, I'm gonna tell my story. And I'm gonna create this content for my son. And in the end, Jeremiah wins, man. You can believe that. That is a fact. In the end, Jeremiah wins. We're not gonna have it any other way. And with that being said, man, I think I go ahead and bring this one to a close. But then I'm thinking I'm gonna just fire up another stream anyway. But we're gonna bring this one to a close. And we'll definitely be back sooner rather than later with another episode of Channel Check. I got some other stuff coming up, man, on this channel. We're gonna do another segment as well, App Test Official, where we will be reviewing and testing apps in the Play Store. Got a lot of segments and a lot of things we're gonna do, man, for this channel. So y'all stay tuned. Jeremiah wins. Jeremiah wins. Jeremiah wins in the end. Don't you ever forget it. Peace. 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 I'm out.